Okay, when I was doing the Mines of Prudhoe video, I got Edgewell pit completely in the wrong place. This is the site where Edgewell pit was, roughly where that car is over there, in that chapel of rest. That was roughly around about the place where the mine was. And then it became an isolation hospital and then a brickworks, and now it's a graveyard with a fantastic view. So this walk, I'm just a stroll around South Prudhoe really. I was just passing this place, so I thought I'd correct it.
Been walking in a country road, and I've been chasing after my shadow. Nobody asked me my name. Maybe my baby will never see me again. And I hold on to life in the palm of my hand. I think God must really love this land. And I've been sipping on that sweet cherry. Laughing and smoking in the shade. Pink clouds rolling through like ships in the sky. I felt a sadness in my heart then, but I don't know why. I hold on to life in the palm of my hand. I think God must really love this land. And no heaven above can't stop me now. Darling, I love walking around. Been walking in the country road, and I've been chasing after my shadow. Nobody asked me my name.
I'm going to head up over there.
Maybe my baby
on the top of that hill over there. Across here a little bit. Over there is Headley on the hill. I'm not going to go as far as that today. This is the old cold way. Okay, this is the site of Headley Park Colliery. It's quite a large site, only closed in the 1950s. I've yet to find a photograph of it yet, but I'm sure there'll be one somewhere. Now originally Headley Park Colliery used to send the coal up past High Mickley along that track I've just walked down, and I used to go down to Mickley, and that's where they used to get processed, the coal, before getting sent on the railway to here, there and everywhere. And what happened was is that they upped the cost of processing the coal at Mickley. There's a lot of wildlife here, not pheasants. In any case, as I was saying, they upped the cost of processing the coal at Mickley, so they didn't want to pay the extra price. So what they did was they built a tramway from Headley Park Colliery to Durham Riding Pit, and the coal would come out the ground at Headley Park Colliery, which is this site, and go on the tramway to Durham Riding Pit, and used to go down the pit at Durham Riding Pit, and then Durham Riding Pit was connected to West Wylam Colliery underground, and they transported the coal underground to West Wylam Colliery, where it was processed at West Wylam Colliery, because it was a lot cheaper than being held to ransom at Mickley. And the result of this tramway was the coal processing works at Mickley ended up closing down. So they cut their own throats by putting up the price, thinking they had no alternative but to use them. But they did. They found a way around it. It's just kind of funny that the coal was coming out the ground and then going back down the ground in order to be transported. It's makes you wonder why they couldn't just build a connection between the pit at Headley Park to the West Wylam workings. But gives you an idea of how far the West Wylam workings went underground. In any case, I'm going to join the tramway now. I took the coal from Headley Park to Durham Riding. Okay, this is the old tramway that connected Headley Park Colliery with Durham Riding Pit. So I'm going to follow this through this wood. Last time I came through this wood it was really eerie. There was just no sounds at all. But today it's quite pleasant. You hear some birds. You can see plenty of wildlife around as well. Yeah, how silent it's become. This wood can be quite eerie when it goes really dead silent and the only thing you can hear is the wind. Sometimes you can't even hear the wind. There's just nothing except the sound of your footsteps All the birds stopped singing. The sheep in the distance stopped bleating. There's just nothing. At the end of the tramway, you can see the remains of it. That metal rail. And then down there, there's another rail here. You can see under this rock. That's the old rail. The tramway. It went through that wood. But it went along that way to where Durham Riding pit was, which is just around about where them trees are over there. So I'm going to walk across this field. So I'll be trespassing now, because the right of way should go along there and join up with the old wagon way. But I want to see where the pit was. You can clearly see where the tramway went. It's like on a little ridge there, like a little embankment. Came by those bushes there. And that's just behind those bushes should roughly be where Durham Riding pit was. So look, you can see the remains of the tramway here quite clearly. Can't see any rail like before, but you can see where it was. Okay, this was the site of Durham Riding pit by the looks of it. I can't see any concrete capping the shaft. I can see I'm stood on the wall at the moment. You can see the boulders and stuff. By flies. I'm going to have to stick some insect repellent on soon. I've got a field full of cows up there, which don't seem to have any udders. Oh great. Just what I need, a field full of young bullocks. Hopefully they'll stay up there instead of following me around. And up there, on the top of that hill, you can see the houses. That's Prudhoe. Gives you an idea. Right there on the horizon you can see some houses that's heading on the wall. Where the Roman wall is. Right, I'm going to put this down and put some insect repellent on, there's too many flies. Okay, I'm back on the old wagon way, the 17th century wagon way. I did a video before about it. It's the second oldest known wagon way in Tyne Valley. This branch of the wagon way goes up to High Mickley where I was before. Those bullocks were starting to move towards us, so I followed the fence line down and then got back onto the official footpath over the fence. I mean, they're fairly harmless young bullocks, but when you get the entire field following you around, sometimes they get a bit feisty. It's breeding bulls and cows with calves that you got to be careful of. They're the real danger. But it's not pleasant being followed around by bullocks. In any case, let's see if I can get a bit of a picture of the old wagon way there. Yeah, this wagon way was made in the 1600s. At first, when I started trying to trace it, I was looking to see if it went all the way to the lead and silver mines up Alston, Allendale way. That kind of made more sense to me for a track that was that old. But looking at some of the old maps, it's quite obvious that this was one of the first coal wagon ways to service the pits. I'm going to go to the end of this one and then pick up where it split and then follow the split up to where the Prudhoe Gliding Club is now. there used to be a row of pits along where the gliding club is, and the wagon way had split, surfaced them, split in two pots. One pot went up to Leadgate and joined the Lead Road, which led to the silver and lead mines of Allendale and Ulster, which is what I thought this track would have done. I thought this track would have gone to High Wick down to the Stocks Road and then picked up the Lead Road around that area, or followed DS Street to Corbridge, and there's an old route between Alston and DS Street. So that's what I was thinking originally that this wagon way was for, but it's not. It was for coal. It would have been nice if it did. The Lead Road itself would make a good cycle route. It starts off at Bladen, well, it ended at Bladen really, because it started in the Allen Valley. But you can follow the road itself. It's a tarmac road for bikes. You can go from Bladen. Most of it's fairly calm, traffic free. I mean, it's traffic, but it's not heavy traffic. At Bladen used to have the smelt works. They used to extract the silver from the lead. So that's the reason why they had the Lead Road. And then it was more efficient extracting the silver at Bladen than the smelting that was happening closer to the Allen Valley. So yeah, you can make a cycle route. The road itself finishes somewhere around about Sleley, just south of Sleley, and then you're going to have to go a little bit cross country or creative on the way of the roads. There's about 3 or 4 different routes over the fells to get down into Allendale. If you went up to Allen Heads, and then you could do a loop and come back via Blanchland, Shotley Bridge, Edmund Byers, and then there's an old railway route that goes through Rowlandskill and takes you back to Bladen. It's a nice circular, that's about 75 mile, but you can up it to 100 mile by going up to Alston, making a 2-day trip. I thought about walking it, to be honest, but it's mostly road walk. So if I was to walk it, I would have to do it in stages. I mean, I couldn't walk 100 miles in one day. I was pushing it. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to walk it or not. I would sooner wait until I get a bike and use a bike. But the cost of bikes these days is beyond my means. So we'll see. This is where I was going to come out if those bullocks hadn't been following me. This is the old track that led to Durham riding. So it goes across that field there. Yeah, them bushes. This is the arrow stud was on some of the stone wall. But there might be other workings there, you know, that I'm not sure of. But like other remains. I'm not sure exactly how big this pit was. Any case, the old wagon way, there's not much left to show where it went. So at the moment I'm just following Engine Road, which will lead up to where the glider club is. Now I know that the wagon way went wrong through the gliding club to connect all the little pits that used to be there. It's somewhere in this wood the wagon way split a second time, or a third time I should say, and one track went up to Leadgate. So what I'm going to do to finish this walk off is I'm just going to walk up by the gliding club, and I'm going to walk along the road to Leadgate and then come back down that way and then just head home from there. It's starting to get on a bit. To be honest, this walk was just a whim. I hadn't intended to walk this far. So we'll see. Now over there, between those trees, looks as though it might be the line of the old wagon way. That went to Ledgate and it split off. And I'm just wearing shorts and trainers because I was just walking on the road really. So I don't think I'm going to go to Ledgate and walk back down there. I'll do it another time, but I'm not really equipped for it today. I don't feel like walking through all that gorse and underbush. And it looks like there's be a few little patches amongst that as well, and thistles. Wearing shorts and trainers, it's not going to happen. But this continues on Engine Road. There's another split in the old wagon way by the looks of it. And this went to service the pits that were along by the gliding club. What I'll do is I'll walk to the top of here, check the time. If I've got time I'll try and make it to the farm where the wagon way went to. If not, I'll just turn around and come back this way and save that one for another day. Probably in the winter with boots and long trousers. It is. That's a bit of a bastard trick. Obviously the farmer doesn't like the walkers coming here. This is probably why the other thing was overgrown. That's not on that, like. Not on at all. And then I did cut myself on it by the looks of it. That's Rusty Bob Ware and all. What a twat, eh? There's the path will just come up. It's a nice view up here. The old wagon way, by the looks of it, they come along through that field there with the cheaper on the side of that shed and continued along the side of that hedge there. It's like a double hedge there. When you get a double hedge like that, it kind of suggests two things here. You'll either be a stream. I think the stream is slightly on this side more. Or it can be the route of the wagon way or a bridle way. It's the first time I've been up here, so I don't have maps with me. But there's a plane there, so that's the gliding club. I thought it was, but I wasn't quite 100% sure. So yeah, the wagon way went up past the gliding club. And you have a string of pits along here, along the side of the wagon way. 4 or 5 pits. And then that wagon way went on to a farm. It passes another mine just off the lead road. And then it goes to this farmhouse. And I can't see why it went to the farmhouse. There used to be an old quarry there, but I can't see them building a wagon way to a quarry. It just doesn't make sense. The quarry wasn't that big, it wasn't a massive quarry, it was just a small quarry. So I'm wondering if it went down and joined the lead road down that way, with whoever. There's another railway, could have dropped down onto the other railway track, which is runs through Chopwell. Not sure. Might be. But there's no evidence at the moment on the maps. Without going there and having a look, I won't know. I don't think I've got time to do it today. I'll continue up this track to the lead road and then turn around and come back. It's getting on. But yeah, you can see where the wagon way went. It's that double hedge. It's maybe following this and looking at the maps and stuff, you kind of get an idea of where the wagon ways were. I tend to follow where the gorse bushes are. So you can see where the gorse bushes are. Sometimes it's a lot clearer, sometimes it's on a slight embankment, and sometimes you're just going on the vegetation that tends to grow on the wagon way. It's nice here, like. It's quiet. Right, I'll head up to the lead road, it's not far, and then I'll turn around and come back. It's hard to see where the pits used to be, you know. Thought it would have been some sort of sign. I was expecting like an embankment or something, if we dug into the embankment. It doesn't seem to be. Long gone. Interesting structure over there. I'll have to see what that is. Or what it used to be. This here's the lead road. That way there goes, with certainty you can trace this road just south of Slaley. And there's a few ways over the moors. So I'm not exactly sure which route they took over the moors. You got a choice of about 4 or 5 different routes. And that takes you into the Allen Valley, Allendale, Allen Heads. And that would have connected all the lead and silver mines. And then this road used to come down here, they used to bring the lead, and they used to take the lead down this way, ends up in Bladen, where they had a more efficient smelt works in Bladen, where they could extract more silver from the lead than they could in the Allen Valley. There on the horizon there's a couple of white flats, you can just make them out. That's the edge of Newcastle. Come along the Tyne Valley there. They're over on the top of the hill there on the horizon there. That's heading on the wall, where the Roman wall is. They come down into the valley a little bit. That's Wylam, and the invention of the railways really happened. George Stephenson was born there. Puffin Billy was created there, one of the first rail routes. And you come along there, you can see the edge of Prudhoe there. You follow along the valley. Right towards the end, and where it dips down there, that'll be close to where Hexham is.